You want to do it? All right, go. What's up? All right. Drew is headed back to the new St. Lillian. So, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Hump Day edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. This is our first day officially sort of back to the grind, and I totally screwed it up. Oh, by the way, real quick, just post real quick if you can hear me. Just confirm, just drop in the chat real quick. Just say, yep, can hear you loud and clear, all that stuff. Just please let me know that you can hear me real quick. Just say yes, thumbs up. Good, everybody. Can you hear me? You can hear me? And the reason I'll tell you why here is I'm waiting for some confirmation that you can hear me. Yes? Yo, can you hear me? God, I hope so. Maybe not. Okay, good. You can hear me. I have in a my new Beats wireless. So trying that, hopefully you get better sound and trying that today. I don't have them both in because um, while I'm driving and I want to be able to hear the road and I don't want noise canceling headphones in while I'm driving around. Trying to be somewhat safe. So anyway, good morning, everybody. First day, sort of back to the regular routine where I'm bringing Drew to school. His first day back after, of course, 2 weeks for Christmas break, and then the week before that he was sick. So Drew's been to school like one time in the last month. So very much off of our schedule and routine, trying to get back today. And I was scheduled for an interview on Crane and Company this morning with our guy Jay Crane, Blaine, and Cone, and it was for 7:15, and I completely forgot. Notification didn't go off, and let me not say that. My phone was plugged in. I didn't have my Apple Watch on, so I didn't hear the notification. And I was just in the shower, totally forgot. Get out, make my coffee. I'm getting ready to do morning scone, and I look at my phone, and it's like uh, Justine, the producer for Crane and Company, is like, "Hey, Matt, you still good?" I'm like, "Oh my god, totally forgot." First interview request of the new year, and I totally screwed it up. Totally forgot the time. So anyway, that's why we're late here on Morning Scone today. Normally I would have done our 7:30 Central Time start, but instead of 7:15 on Crane and Company, I was on Crane and Company at 7:30, and then it was all right. Well, let's get Drew up, get him dressed, and get him out the house. So anyway, a good morning, everybody. Hope your Wednesday is off to a great start. Dreadful weather day in Baton Rouge on Tuesday, really all across South Louisiana. Tons of rain and tornado watches and all that sort of stuff. Great opportunity to remind you about Hudco Roofing, of course. I'm sure today is going to be a very busy day for us because when it rains, that's when our phones ring. LSU played Kentucky in hoops last night. So fire away with your questions, y'all. Whenever I get to red lights and such, you know the drill here. When we're in transit, when we get to a red light or a stop sign, I'll kind of look down and say our good mornings or check for questions. So dropping the questions in as we can. LSU basketball gave them a go. Kentucky was I think 9-4 coming into last night. They lost their SEC opener to Missouri, who's now ranked, by the way. And LSU, of course, had a top 10 win against Arkansas, but obviously LSU historically has not had great success playing at Rupp Arena. And it was an ESPN game, LSU at Kentucky on ESPN, and boy, Tigers fought hard, man. You kind of cringe to think of what this team would be like without KJ Williams, because boy, he is good. I mean, he's definitely. But Cal's team has a monster in Oscar Tshiebwe, reigning SEC and National Player of the Year. There it is. What do we? Do we not have audio? Oh, the sound was going out. Sorry. Is the sound good? Can y'all confirm sounds good? Sorry if that was happening. If it was going out. So, okay. Hey, I'm going to put this down for 1 second. Y'all are going to look at the ceiling of the car. Hang on. Okay. Now you should just have the. I was afraid of that. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Y'all have not had great luck with wireless headphones. I had a pair of AirPods and they just failed on me all the time like that. I do interviews or be on phone calls and they sort of get that digital sound like a robot and then they would just crap out and it was very frustrating. Got me a pair of the wireless Beats and apparently they're not any better. I'm having the same issues. I just don't. And I thought maybe it was my phone. I had an old phone, and so I got this is now a new phone, new headphones. I'm still having the same issue. So I mean, in theory, wireless headphones are awesome. You just pop them in, you can hear, you can talk, you don't have to hold anything, and it's great. But the um, the reliability of them for me have been horrendous. So if anybody can figure out wireless headphones and how to make them more reliable than they've been for me, that would be great. But they're not. So anyway, so Oscar Sheboy, obviously he's just a bear and tough to handle. But KJ Williams played really well. I don't have the box score in front of me, so my apologies for that. I think Derek Fountain is maybe the big surprise of the season for LSU, the Mississippi State transfer. With his length, he's a pro. Let me put it this way: he has an NBA skill set with his length and athleticism. So he's been a really pleasant surprise for this team. So, and look, they had a shot late, man. Adam Miller hit a big three. Kentucky responded with a three to make it 6. Tigers got within a point late, or within 2, and then Kentucky converted a basket. LSU responded. It looked like Derek Fountain was going to steal a pass, but and give LSU a chance to tie it or take the lead. But as he kind of intercepted the pass, he kind of dribbled it, the ball bounced out of bounds. It was a really tough play, but had he made it, maybe a different outcome there at the end. Really good first half offensively for LSU as they scored 38 points. Keep in mind they scored 61 the entire game um, against Arkansas, and they shot 50% from the floor in that first half, 46% from three, and they were 4 for 4 from the free throw line. They've been a really bad free throw team all year, so it was encouraging for this reason. Listen, the this the conference schedule is a meat grinder. We've talked about it enough. You all know it by now. But LSU in beating Arkansas and running Kentucky right up to the end of the game the way they did at Rupp. I mean, this team has proven they're going to be a tough out. They're going to be a really tough out, and they're going to. I would not be surprised if they find a way to swipe a few wins here and there. Maybe they shouldn't get. So they have a lot of shortcomings. But they are far from the worst team in the league. It's just that it happens to be a year where LSU is down and the league is really, really good. So, but Matt McMahon has his team playing hard. They are bought in. They are well coached. They're a disciplined basketball team. I wish they had more scoring. I wish they had more shooting, but I guess that's what everybody in basketball wants is more shooting. But LSU doesn't really seem to have any. Um, they really need to get Adam Miller going. All right, we got a red light coming up here, so I'll be able to look down and say some good mornings to y'all. Fire away with your questions as always. Trivia Carter, what up? Thanks for jumping on Crane and Company there. Spurge, Wendell Norman, Nicholas Cantrell, Jason H, what's good? River Reese, Rappin Batches, Brian Irwin. Does the women's team have a legitimate argument as the best team in the country? I think South Carolina is probably that much better than everybody, but within the next year, I think LSU will be in that conversation. Leon Williams, what's up? Trey Goodwin, morning, Matt. How possible would it be to get help from you or someone from GameCoin how to invest? Appreciate it. Yeah, Trey, I'm happy to help you with that, man. Just shoot me a message, and I'll tell you, man, there is a video that is a step-by-step how-to video made on the GameCoin YouTube channel if you want to check that out. Bryce Boudreaux, Matt, will you be at the Friday the 13th fight at Lamar Dixon? I will not be there. January 13th is mine and Erica's anniversary. So, oddly or coincidentally, Erica and I were married on Friday the 13th back in 2012. So, January 13th, 2012. So we will be celebrating 11 years of marriage on Friday 13th. I will not be ringing in or celebrating our marriage with fights at Lamar Dixon. River Reese, what's up? Vegas gave LSU plus 12.5. Yeah, I got it at 10, but I honestly didn't play that. I played Otter gave you a money line parlay on Otter locks with Tennessee, Bama, and Kentucky, which hit, which was great to see last night. Cashed that ticket. Sean Comiskey, Shane O'Mac, what's going on? Sean said, you may have told the story. How'd you get hooked up with Crane and Company? Yeah, I'll tell that story. So it was out for like 5 seconds. I guess I could put the headphones back in. Do you think the Saints should bring back Davenport, or can Granderson truly be it? I'm gonna come back to the Crane and Company question. Let me answer that one first, so I kind of go chronologically. My apologies. So here's the thing about Davenport. So Marcus Davenport, Saints did pick up his 5th-year option. So this was a contract year for Marcus Davenport. We all know the story, right? Former first-round pick, yada yada, back in 2018. And the problem with Davenport has been his inability to stay healthy. But when he's been healthy, he's been a very productive player. The problem is this year, he mostly has been healthy, but has just completely vanished as far as the production. Now, there are people who cover the NFL at a far higher level than I do, meaning cover the teams and the contracts and the rosters and all that stuff, like cover the league as a whole, not just follow and comment on the Saints and then generally on the league. But there are people who believe Marcus Davenport is going to command $20 million a year in free agency this year. There is no way on God's green earth that the New Orleans Saints, with all of their cap issues, should commit $20 million a year to Marcus Davenport, who has been a massive disappointment as an edge rusher. So my answer to your question is, I'm okay bringing back Marcus Davenport at the right price. But if that price is $20 million, then not just no, but heck no. Cam Jordan is near the end of his career, obviously. I don't know how much longer Cam wants to play, but he can clearly still play. Your question about Carl Granderson is a very good one, who became the more productive end opposite opposite Cam Jordan this year. And you still have Peyton Turner, who is on his way to being a colossal bust as well. And maybe not, but maybe you can salvage something there. But if you go into next season and you're starting defensive ends or Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, and you've got Peyton Turner there giving you reps, and then you look to free agency, or look, you got guys like Tano Passanio. Obviously he's hurt right now, but there are veteran players who can give you depth in a rotation at that position, or you can go to the draft. But would I like Marcus Davenport back? Sure, but at the right price. There is just no chance, if the market commands $20 million, that you pay him that. Question about Crane and Company. So we met. It's funny because they weren't Crane and Company at the time. It was just the J Boy show. Jake Crane met them last year, so summer of 2021 at SEC Media Days. Had no clue who he was, never met him before, anything like that. I think T-Bob maybe went on their show, and like they just showed up. I don't even think, didn't even have credentials. And Blaine, it was the J-Boy show. Blaine wasn't even, Blaine is Blaine Crane, Jake's brother, who's part of the show now. Blaine was there, but I don't recall Blaine being part of the show. And Scone, who's David Scone, who, by the way, is from Georgia, who played quarterback at Michigan under Rich Rodriguez, backed up Denard Robinson. Anyway. But Scone ran like a video production company, and so Scone just was like, hey, man, you got something special. I'm going to help you out. And so just did all the video work for Jake. And they got picked up by Cowherd's Volume Sports. And I think they had a 1-year deal with them, maybe. And then that's when Daily Wire picked them up. So they moved to Nashville. They're there now. But it was just Jake, and Jake was just there. Cone had a camera, microphone, and Jake was just interviewing people on Radio Row, just standing, not at a table. He didn't have a booth or anything. He was just standing up on Radio Row doing interviews with people. And I think maybe he interviewed T-Bob, and that's how we all kind of got in, sort of connected in that web. And then one night T-Bob and Jake and Cone and Blaine and I went to dinner. Maybe the first or second night of media days, and then I think maybe our last night there, I went out with the guys, and we just kind of all got to know each other, became friends. That's again when it was still J Boy's show, and then of course they left Volume and went to Daily Wire, and all of them moved from Birmingham or Atlanta, wherever they were. I think they were in Atlanta, moved to Nashville, and they do their show there now, big studio, and they do a great job, man. And that's one of the things, and I want to point this out because, it's a random connect the dots, but when we were talking yesterday about, or maybe 2 days ago, about all the rumors right around the LSU program, about the allegations around the SEC championship game and all that, and I said that's the worst part of the internet media. The great part is that it's the barrier to entry is zero. There's no more gatekeepers. If you're good, you can make it, and the audience decides. But the downside is that everybody with an internet connection and a Twitter account thinks they're Woodward and Bernstein. So you end up having a lot of salacious stories and fake news. I mean, same thing happened with Kayshawn. You remember when Kayshawn, when LSU declared Kayshawn unavailable for the bowl game, there were reports out there, oh, no big deal. Sources say no big. Yeah, an hour later, Kayshawn's declaring for the draft. Anyway, that's the worst part of it. The best part of it is Crane and Company, right? I mean, Jake Crane was, I don't mean to make this whole thing about them, but yes, question, but I'll just point it out. Jake was a college football coach. He was at South Alabama. He was at JUCO level, was at South Alabama, then was at Montana. He was coaching at Montana. And when in their off season, he was home in Alabama, in the Birmingham area, and just started a podcast. And it started getting a lot of traction. He was starting to have a lot of downloads, started to get a lot of attention for it. And then, before you know it, he quits coaching and decides to go all in on the media content creation deal, gets picked up by Cowherd's people at Volume, and a year later is now Daily Wire, and his whole life has changed, right? That's the best part of it, because even 10 years ago, a guy like Jake would have never had an opportunity, literally would not have had an opportunity, because what are we doing here, fella? Oh, we're going to back into a parking spot where people are in a carpool line. No worries. We'll all just wait here while you back into this spot. Okay. People. Humankind, y'all. I tell you what. Okay. Drew's about to get out of the car, so I'm going to have to put the phone down for a second. But we're not done with the show, y'all. We still have time here, as I now have to drive to Guarantee. So hang on one second, if you would. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, bud. Good morning.
Hey, buddy.
I wonder if he remembers how to get to his classroom. It's been so long. Yeah.
You ready?
I think he can figure it out. We'll see.
You're smart. You got this, huh, Drew, man?
Okay, bud. Love you.
Bye.
Bye, Drew. Bye, Drew.
He whispered it. Bye.
Bye, Dad. Bye, Drew. Okay, love you.
You have a good one.
Bye. Okay. Now I'll wait in carpool and get out of here. And in the meantime, I can say some what's ups to y'all's. Peter Fennerk.
I think we underestimated LSU's basketball team. Peter, I'll put it to you this way. Maybe. I don't think I underestimated their win total. I said if they could get to 8-10 in the league, that would, I think, put them in position for an NIT berth. And I'm not going to budge off that number. I think that's the number. Because, but what I'll say is I think they're playing much, like they still lost to Kentucky, but it was much a much more competitive game than I think we would have thought, right? Than I would have thought. Their flaws are what they are, though. They don't have a shooter. They really struggle to score, but they are bought in defensively, and Matt McMahon has a plan, and they execute that plan. They just have limitations, right? Come on, lady, go. What are you doing? Like, you got to keep it moving. This is a process. There are systems in place. Follow the systems. The gas is on the right. Move it. I'm sure you're a wonderful person, but my goodness. Anyway. So, Peter, I think this team is playing hard and playing well together. They just have limitations. So maybe underestimated how it would look, but I still think the record is going to be what it's going to be. Like, I still think if they get to 8-10 in conference play, you're talking about a 19-win team. I think you're talking about an NIT team, which I think is great. Bubba Tatum, as always, your adoration of Drew is a beautiful thing. Thanks, man. Dude, dad life's the best, right? Larry Connor, couple of games. I appreciate Jaden. I'm all in on the Nuss bus. I need your I don't think you're right. I don't think you're being serious here, Larry. Like, and maybe you're just trying to trigger me on this morning. But there is no shot at all, that I'm gonna champion the Nuss bus people. None. Like, there may come a day where Garrett Nussmeier sticks it out, and becomes the starting quarterback at LSU, and cures his turnover issues, and plays really well. And that would be awesome to see, because there are things there that you like. But you are high if you are going to sit here today and tell me that you would rather start Garrett Nussmeier over Jade Daniels. You're just high. And the thing that annoys me the most about it, and I know how it comes across to many of you, it's going to come across as, well, he hates Nussmeier, he's crapping on Nussmeier. No, I'm not. I think Garrett Nussmeier is a really good prospect. I think he's got a lively arm. I like his mobility, his moxie, all that sort of stuff. I love sort of that bravado. But I also have objectively seen him play very poorly, and he cannot stop turning the football over. And until you do that, you cannot be the starting quarterback at LSU. Because if you're going to keep throwing interceptions in the end zone and bad pick sixes and throwing into double coverage and turning the ball over, you can't be the starter. Like, you can't be. So it is stunning to me. It is stunning to me. Like, absolutely stunning to me that so many of you can look at the small sample you've seen and say, oh, that's a quarter. Like, he has been objectively bad and careless with the football more than he has been good. You watched a half of football against Georgia when LSU was down 4 touchdowns and thought, oh, that's it. But what you ignore, or when they're up 5 touchdowns against Purdue, and what you ignore is bad interception in the end zone, interception into double coverage. Should have thrown a second interception. Go back and watch the first pass he threw against Georgia. Should have been intercepted. Like, when the game is out of control and the outcome is not in doubt, you ignore those plays, like the 2 interceptions he threw at Southern, including the awful pick 6 when he wasn't even looking. He was at the sideline. Like, you ignore those because the game's no longer in doubt. But when you get into the game is in doubt scenario and you make that mistake, it costs you the game. I am just floored at you all that cannot look at the many examples of veteran quarterbacks who played consistent football, come back for another year and have a blow up year, and then on top of that, the fact that your quarterback this year threw for 2,900 yards, was your leading rusher, accounted for nearly 70% of your offense on the season, and you are not a 9-3 football team winning the SEC West this year without Jay Daniels. You are not. And so many of you want to kick him to the curb, and I know the reason. It's because you've married yourself to the idea of your guy, and nothing's gonna force you to budge off of that. And it's the worst part of sports fandom or sports media is when people are entrenched in their opinion, and no matter what evidence is shown them, they will not budge off of it. So it's just it's frustrating. It's so annoying. It is, you can tell, like, it's 8:46 in the morning, and I'm annoyed right now. I'm annoyed at Larry Connor's comments. I'm annoyed at him, not at him, at his comment, because I know he's not alone. And it just and the most frustrating part is this conversation isn't going to go away, like, until or unless Garrett transfers. And I hope he doesn't, by the way. I hope he stays. I hope he stays, backs up Jaden this year, and in 2024, you have Garrett and Walker battling for the starting job and let the best man win. But it's the same stupid conversation that I heard from so many of y'all about Miles Brennan. Like, everybody was all on the Brennan train last year. And I try to tell you, Brennan ain't winning this job. And people had just married themselves to the idea of Miles Brennan playing when we had such a small sample size of Miles Brennan. He started a few games in the COVID year, and he threw for a lot of yards. But what y'all forget is how, like, indecisive he was. He held on to the football. Like, anyway, I think Larry was just trying to trigger me this morning. I really think so. But it's Larry's like, we need a pocket passer. He threw for 2,900 yards this year. Do you realize there's 3 quarterbacks in the history of LSU football that have thrown for 3,000 yards in a season? 3, ever. 3. Tommy Hodson, Rohan Davey, Jamarcus Russell. Well, Joe Burrow. That's it. 4. 4. In the history of the program. He was less than 100 yards away from doing it this year. You need a pocket passer. Like, shut up. That's so stupid. That is a stupid comment, Larry. That's my point to you. Larry? I think I'm saying Larry David. Like, do you not understand how stupid that is? Like, all you see is, oh, he's just a running quarterback. He's a running back playing quarterback. He threw for 2,900 bleeping yards. What is wrong with you? And for half a season, they had no offensive line. Do you realize they used 6 line combinations in 8 games? Like, people forget this context. If you go back and watch how bad LSU's offensive line was through the first half of this season, like, if you didn't have a mobile quarterback, your offense would have been awful. Miles Brennan as a statue back there would have been complete and utter toast. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that Garrett Nussmeier is the pocket passer, I'm here to tell you, you're freaking high, because he throws the ball away all the time. He throws interceptions. He'll tuck it and run. It's part of the offense. Brian Kelly wants a running quarterback. Why are you trying to piss me off this morning? Ronnie Duga, what's up? Your Fave 5 had said Scone won't say it, so I will. Some of you don't like having a black quarterback. You said back quarterback, but I don't mean black quarterback. I think there are listen, I'm not naive. There are obviously going to be some people who will see black quarterback and make certain um, uh, impressions based on that, right? Oh, well, he's just a running quarterback. He's not a pocket passer, all that stuff. And obviously that's stupid. The whole position has transformed in 2023. They're undeniably. I'm not stupid. Like there are of course people who are just not going to want a black quarterback. I do not think that's the majority. I don't think that's the reason. Um, for some, yes, I do not think that's the majority. Um, I I just think people, and I'll tell you, I think a big part of it. I do think this is true. I think a big part of it is you want your homegrown talent, right? Like you want the guy that signed with you that came up through the system, and you feel like you can have him be the Bryce Young, right? Who's a 3-year starter, and I think that's part of it for a lot of people. That was a lot of it with Brennan. It's like you knew Miles Brennan. Miles Brennan was committed to LSU under Cam Cameron and Les Miles, and you knew him for a long time, and you wanted it to go well. Like same with Nussmeier, right? I mean, a kid who was born in Louisiana, has got LSU roots, and he was son of a coach and loves the Tigers, and like you cheer for that. Same with Walker Howard. I don't think it matters if he's black or white. I think it's just that's I think that's part of where people's allegiances lie. But it's stunning to me. I think it really is when you can look at the sample size of a guy who's got 40 career starts and has been the dynamic playmaker he's been and just led you to an SEC West championship despite all the things. Like you do not have a dynamic running back. You have a former, like God bless Josh Williams. He's a solid college football player, but you do not have a dynamic player at running back. You started a true freshman at tight end. You used 6 line combinations through your first 8 games. You had 2 true freshmen starting at tackle. Like your best receiver was a preseason top 10 projected pick, was a virtual no-show this year, and you won 9 games. Like you now 10, but you won the SEC West. You beat Bama. Like it's like the inability of so many of you to give that man his due. And you've married yourself to this narrative that, oh well, he holds on to the ball too long. He won't throw the ball downfield. Like it's just stupid. Like I'm not telling you he's flawless. I'm not telling you he can't improve. He's 21 years old. Of course he can improve. At 21, Josh Allen was playing at Wyoming because he wasn't good enough to play in the Power Five. Now he's arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. I'm not telling you this could be Jaden Daniels. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback on the planet today, right? He played at Texas Tech because he couldn't go anywhere else. Like guys are allowed to improve. In the same way that you're giving Garrett Nussmeier the rope to say, oh, he can improve, he can purge himself of the turnovers and all that stuff. Why won't you give that same courtesy to Jaden Daniels, who is infinitely better and more productive at this point with a smaller margin needed to get to that elite level than Nussmeier, but you won't give him that luxury, that benefit? It's just like I don't even know why I can't. Like I think I'm just going to start ignoring all of you. Like it's not worth having this conversation anymore because the head coach has even told you point blank there is no quarterback controversy. Jaden Daniels is the actually said Jalen, but Jaden Daniels is a starter. Like Jaden's going to start. If you don't like it, go cheer for somebody else. Go cheer for another team. I mean, dude was like balls against Alabama this year. The boogeyman, the greatest coach ever, reigning Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, and every time in the second half, literally every single time in the second half, they took the lead. Every single time LSU responded with a drive that netted them points and they regained the lead. Alabama did not run a single play in that game with the lead. And I know y'all make it like it's well, you're crapping on us. No, I'm not. Like I'm just pointing out the differences in the two players where one is very veteran and has a ton of skins on the wall and is still improving, and the other is a young guy who has some really nice parts to his game and skill sets, but also has some really negative things that will cost you games. Whatever. I gotta go record a podcast. I'm almost a guarantee. About to pull up right now. Go and record Rosters to Riches this morning. By the way, newest episode of Rosters to Riches dropping today. It's our interview with Jay Johnson. Y'all are really going to like it. Jay was great. We recorded that before Christmas, dropping it today, and I think you're really, really going to like that episode. So if you've not done so yet, please subscribe up to Rosters to Riches, however you get your podcasts. Right, and bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. All right, y'all. Okay, we're here at Guarantee. Larry Connor, I'm literally going to start ignoring you. How many read option quarterbacks have won a national championship in college? Brother, zone read is part of everybody's offense in the modern game of football. Do you watch even the NFL? Everybody runs zone read concepts. Everybody, literally every flipping team runs zone read concepts. If you don't, you're Navy. Jesus Christ in heaven. Like it's like the old line. Just when I thought you couldn't be any dumber, except you don't say the second part where you go ahead and redeem yourself. Holy crap. Like, that is stunning to me. Like, quarterbacks that have run read, are like, do you look at the teams that are going to play in the championship? Both Georgia and TCU run zone read concepts. Like, it's unbelievable. This is unimaginable to me. Look at your last two Heisman Trophy winners, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young. Holy crap. What do they do? That guy, I'm ignoring him. I might mute him. I'm not going at fine, Army. Doesn't matter. I'm just talking about, like, you're that's like Jordan B is like laughing. Everybody's laughing at this guy. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, I don't understand, like, how stupid you can be. Do you put on any NFL game? Put on an NFL game. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, even Aaron Rodgers. Like, literally every single team runs out of the shotgun and they run zone read concepts. Every team in the league. Every team. Like, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, all of them. They all do it. Literally all of them. If you don't have, like, Larry, if you don't have a modicum of football sense, please don't comment. That is so bleeping stupid. The whole game of modern football is centered around, like, zone read concepts. That is the game of football. Guys take a shotgun snap, they fake the handoff and throw or give the ball. They're reading an end. Like, that is the game of football today. Is that, like, what in the hell is he talking about? Like, I'm stunned. I'm flabbergasted by that guy. Like, I don't think he knows anything about football. Like, I mean, that is the base offense for everybody except Army and Navy. All right, I gotta go. Holy crap. All right, whatever. Bye. Oh my God.